Okay, now that you've got some of the basics on how to actually place your feet, how to move forward, we're going to now start off with a couple of stances that you're going to see commonly both in our Black Tiger style of fence as well as what you will see most commonly throughout the rest of the community out there. So to begin with, we're going to start off with what you're going to see most often in other people. So Jason, go ahead and show me an on-guard stance. Okay, now note, the sword itself is following a straight line from the tip all the way down through his elbow. All right, now, so when you're looking at it straight on, you're not seeing a whole lot of Jason on the outside of his sword or to the left of the blade, as the case may be. Now, you're going to see this in probably anywhere from 90 to 95% of the other people that you face. Now, there's going to be variations, slight here and there, maybe a slight bit more angle on one location than another, but the end result being is that that sword is going to be upheld nice and high, with the idea, of course, being to defend everything from the torso to the head. Okay, now, we're looking at this same view that you saw before, but from the side. Jason is facing me in what I call a high guard. He's got a straight line from the tip of the sword, down through the blade, down through his forearm, exiting out the elbow, and that line that is extending from there would be reaching out beyond Jason himself. So if I was to draw a straight line with a laser, and you could actually see that laser going down through and exiting his elbow, the line passes outside of his body. That's extremely important because wherever that line points is where my sword is going to go when you're trying to parry me. Just as an example, Jason's in a good solid high guard there. He's got a good parry, straight line all the way through the blade, down through his arm. If he was to catch me in what I call parry 6, and the closer I get to him, he doesn't have to move. The closer I get to him, the farther my sword gets deflected. Now, conversely, if this line is broken, say for example, down at the wrist, well, when he parries me now, the straight line that he has, if he does not move at all, he'll guide me right into his arm, or worse, guide me right into his body, as I have seen people do by breaking that line too much or drifting that sword too far towards their center line. So again, straight line, I'm deflected the closer I get. Obviously, I'm not ever going to get this close. Well, hopefully, you're not going to get this close to your opponent when you've actually attacked him. But this is the end result. The closer you get, the farther your sword deflects. If the line breaks, you actually create an opening that strikes your opponent in the arm. All right, now we're going to show that exact same stance, but from a point of view perspective of your opponent. So if Jason has a nice, strong, straight line, as he does right now, with the tip and the blade and the forearm all aligned nice and straight, every time he catches me in a parry, he doesn't even have to move. The closer I get, the farther I deflect. That is not the case, however, if he is to show me what I call a broken line. That is, when the sword itself does not form a straight line with your forearm. Now this can be done either at the wrist, it can be done because you flexed a little bit too far with the fingers, but regardless, you present what I call a broken line. Now, when Jason was to defend, if he does not move at all, he's actually helping to guide me right up into his arm, or worse, as I mentioned earlier, he'll actually guide me into his body because his sword drifted too close to a center line, and now I'm actually able to duck inside and strike him in the ribs. It's very, very important, you're in an on-guard stance, that you are going to make sure that you maintain a straight line there. Now the reason why I make mention of this for Black Tigers in general is because this is still a parry that we use. It may not be our on-guard parry, but it is nonetheless one of the 9 that we use. So you use a parry 6, you make sure you've got a straight line from the sword down through your arm. Now, since I already made mention of it, we as Black Tigers have a tendency to fight in a low guard. Low guard fighters, go ahead Jason, you're simply going to be starting off, instead of in a parry 6, you're automatically starting off in parry 7. Now, this is, again, still one of the 9 parries. It is critically important that you maintain that straight line from that tip up through the blade, all the way up through your forearm, and that the line that exits out of your elbow exits past your body. You still don't want to have someone being helped on their way into you. That's not a good thing. So, as before, if Jason has a center line there where he puts his sword tip lined up on my knees, on his knees, if he doesn't move, as I attack him in the leg, if he catches me in a parry, the closer I get, the farther he deflects. Now, as a Black Tiger, make sure that if you're using a low guard, that you maintain that straight line, as much so when you're going into a parry 6. So, show me parry 6, Jason. It's one of the parries that we use. Make sure you keep a straight line. It's very, very important. Show me on guard. Again, straight line.